And now presenting the save state. Ghost Hunter.
Ghost Master.
Ghost Master. I meant Ghost Master.
Since I've last been on here, I've gotten 3 upgrades. Or 3 new buildings.
On Cookie Clicker?
Yeah, 3 new buildings. I can't even
Jeez
think
Louise.
about a upgrade.
Have you tried doing something else?
With my life?
Just in general?
No, because I don't know what to do. Because even if I get any of the other, like, lower level stuff, like the maximum amount, it doesn't add up to anything compared to, like, if that makes sense. The exponential growth is insane as you get higher up level, whatever buildings. I don't even do anything. You good?
Yeah. Hi.
You're just like,
Oh no, I thought I had a mosquito bite on my forehead.
you guys have mosquitoes out there?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
I thought it would get
insane.
like too cold for those kind of things.
Well, it is too cold, except for like we have like 9 months of winter and 3 months of summer, and the mosquitoes have to do all of their fucking mosquitoing in those 3 months.
No, that sucks.
And it's just like swarms of them, especially out here where I'm like surrounded by swamps, so it's just mosquito-y as hell.
Yeah,
It's insane.
I think it's supposed to be a like a super cicada year.
Yeah, I heard about
You know, when
that.
they all line up or whatever. What is it, like every 16 years?
Well, there's like different like swarms, so like they have to like several of them have to line up at once, which only happens every once in a while.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be the big one.
Yeah. Weird creatures, cicadas. Fucking aliens. I mean, some creature that just sleeps for 8 years and then wakes up to mate and then die and then goes back to sleep for another 8 years. Like,
I mean,
what a weird sci-fi ass concept for a creature, you know?
I wonder how that evolved.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, if we just hang out in the dirt, no one can eat us.
Yeah, you can't. Maybe that's why they're so dumb.
They're dumb? Maybe they're super smart. It's the smartest move of any animal. Just sleep all day, wake up.
From what I remember correctly, they just like when they are awake, they just like run into walls and then die.
Yeah, they
They're
gotta
so-
be probably blind. Never seen the sunlight before, and it's gotta be terrifying. Do you ever think about death?
Yeah. No, so yeah, welcome to the Save State. This is a podcast where we talk about video games.
Ew.
Mike, my usual co-host, Mike is not here as he is battling the demon of COVID, but I am joined by irregular co-host Marcus.
Hey.
I call him that because you get him from like the irregular bin at the flea market.
Yeah.
It
got me in the lost and found.
But he's here to talk about actually a game he suggested anyway.
I
so
know.
frankly,
And I feel bad Mike's not here because I kind of pulled the mic.
and that game is
Ghost Master. Ooh.
so why what like go back to
2003?
why you suggested it and
Well,
like,
I
what
suggested
your
it 'cause
relationship
I
is
had
with this game.
a much fonder memory of it when I was a little kid. You know, Sims was real hot at the time. I love The Sims. I was really into ghosts. And then this game that comes out, I don't know if I saw it in like a PC magazine or I just saw it at the store or something. I probably just saw it at the store and it's like, oh, I need that. Because it's like, oh, Ghost Sims is what it looks like, what you think it is.
Yeah.
But it is. But I mean, I remember loving it when I was a little kid. I might have loved it because there's some little titties at the beginning. That's what I was all about as a kid. But, you know, it's a strategy sort of
Yeah, I think the game
puzzle.
I would compare it to most would maybe like Dungeon Keeper or maybe like Evil Genius, where like you're kind of playing the antagonist in the situation. So like it's like a strategy game in which you are a haunted house or a haunted.
Well, no, you're a
something
ghost
and
master. You're the.
Well, okay, true. Yeah. you are a master of ghosts, which is not a trope that exists outside this video game, but like your job is to like control the ghosts that haunt a house and scare everyone out of them, which is a fun idea.
It is
like,
a very fun
honestly,
idea.
I thought a lot of the concept of this game was great, and like the thing is, like when this game is working well, it's actually really fun.
Yes, it can get a little frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's just kind of a lot of jank to it, and there's like a lot of it almost reminded me in some way of Hitman, where like every level is like you have like people doing little repetitive
routines,
tasks. You can map things out, and you can kind of like set things up. So like in Hitman, a lot of the times if you're playing it not like how my dad plays it, where you're actually trying to make things look like accidents or whatever, and have things fall on people, or you're poisoning their like pasta sauce or whatever, you're always looking for opportunities to kind of kill them that way. And Ghostmaster kind of does that too, where like you can set up ghosts to like set off electrical whatevers, or like possess ghosts, like trophies on the wall and stuff like that, to kind of you're looking at like patterns that the NPCs are making, so that you can use the items they're interacting with to scare them, which is a lot like Hitman. But Hitman is like clockwork efficient when it's done right, and if it's done poorly, that's very shitty. And this game kind of has like this problem with doing the predictable thing predictably, I guess is what I would say.
Okay.
Like there's just a lot of like for example, one of the problems, there's one where you're in a police station.
Yes.
And you're supposed to, one of the like bonus objectives is to find out who the corrupt cop is, who's like trying to get the money out of the evidence lockup, and then scare him with this other ghost. And you're supposed to scare the guy guarding the lockup, and then the other ghost will and then the corrupt cop will come downstairs to the evidence locker, and then you can get him that way. But I literally did this 16 times in a row, where I would scare the evidence guy. The guy would come down the stairs, he'd look in there, and then he'd just walk back upstairs for no reason. Like it took forever.
Maybe you had the wrong cop.
No, I did. It was the right one. On the 17th time, I got it. It just took 16 times for him to actually like trigger whatever command it was that needed for him to like go into the evidence lockup. And there's a lot of little things like that.
It does seem like the game is not complete. By sub-seam, I mean I know it is not complete, because people who made it have even said that themselves. So maybe there was some stuff that wasn't fully fleshed out, and I was under the impression that it was in active development after one YouTube video on GOG. So I bought it a second time to play on GOG.
Yeah, no, I played the GOG version, or GOG. I don't know what
I don't know.
Is GOG the parlance? I don't know either.
I don't know.
But yes, they did update it for like it's more updated than a lot of older games. Like it runs pretty well on modern computers. There's like widescreen options and stuff, which are not common for games from this era. So that's good. And I think they probably, I mean, I know they did some other stuff with the patch, but this was I think it was 2017 that it was patched for modern computers. So
yeah, not
been
in
a bit
active development.
No,
well, because like even on the YouTube video I watched, it was like a comment from like Ghostmaster's official. It was like, "Thank you for seeing our work." I was like, "Oh, that's legit." When we get that GOG version, we'll be you get skins and stuff, all modern. But no, yeah. Would you say that they just like put in like translation notes?
Yeah. I think one of the more recent ones that they just translated it into Polish or something like that.
I bet they love those scary games over there, because they have all the folklore.
Yeah. Well, GOG is Polish too, so maybe that was
I did not know that.
Oh. Yeah, they're owned by the same people who made Witcher. So.
Whoa. Huh.
Yeah. In fact, that's how they started out, was like publishing Western games for Poland, I think.
Huh.
It was like that was before they started making the Witcher games. That was their thing.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know they were a little Polish team.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like they started off because like the developers CG Project Red.
Yes.
CD Project Red. And I think CD Projekt was their original, like, just publishing company, and then at some point, and then Red was the developer, and then they kind of just became
one.
the developer. Yeah. So,
So,
but yeah, I have to remember to buy things on GOG more often, just because they do allow you to like keep the games, and do not like, because they're license free. Like they don't have DRM. They're not one license free, but like, they're more responsible with those kind of things.
is Steam having problems with that?
Well, no, but hypothetically, if a game ever left, if Steam like disappeared, you wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't have it.
any of
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to run any of the games. But if you download, like anything you download through GOG, you should be able to just keep playing. Like it's on your computer, so it's not like you have to run a DRM to run the game.
Huh. That makes sense. Because for my Final Fantasy VII, I had to like join a website. And it just really seems like, oh, Steam just gave me access to this website. Like, I don't have a lot of hours in it or anything. But it just seems, yeah. And I thought about that. I can play it offline though. But I think it does say that like you might have some save mishaps, but I've never had that problem.
Yeah, well, I think like if you boot up Steam and then go into offline mode from being online, it doesn't. You can run anything, but the problem is if you like boot up your computer and it's not already online, then it can cause problems, I think.
Okay.
But I haven't actually messed with that at all. But anyway,
Ghostmaster.
To Ghostmaster. Yeah. No, I think it does a lot of really interesting stuff with like. Not just like being able to play the bad guy was fun, kind of having these the way of trying to like, you have like different bars you have to deplete in order to scare people away. Like you have to like increase their belief in ghosts, and then you also have to increase their terror and their other stat.
Faith, terror, and oh boy, it was one like mental state maybe. No, because that'd be terror.
Yeah, the other one's like insanity,
or
something like that. Yeah. So, like, you're trying to, like, scare them away without, like, you're trying to make them believe in ghosts and then scare them away without, like, and then, or drive them insane. Which, it's interesting, but I feel like the mechanisms don't always work. Like, there were definitely some times where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use this ghost to kind of drive up their faith by making them interact with this object, and this ghost will scare them when they go in that room, and kind of trying to set up, like, these mousetrap elaborate systems. Home Alone, good example. And it never seemed like, sometimes it didn't seem to work the way I wanted to, and sometimes it would just they would just get too scared before they even got to the point where I needed to scare them, and they would just run out of the house. It felt like the way the people I was trying to scare weren't reacting with the mechanism of the scaring all the time.
I agree. Yeah, because it does have this whole like you can like first person view every single one of the people you're trying to scare out and get a small bio on them that I don't necessarily believe truly means anything. It's like, oh, this one's scared of spiders. But then you do have your little spider fester that you can use. But I mean, if you just use your big scary guy, just gotta get him every time.
Yeah, exactly. It did seem to like actually matter a lot of the time. And then like one of the fun things is like you have there's like ghosts that exist within the house already, and you can like do certain things to free them, and then you add them to your like your barracks of ghosts that you can use. Well, yeah, it's kind of got like this XCOM-y thing where you have to like pick which ghosts you want to use.
Well, I was thinking of
you can level them up
Rainbow
between
Six.
Hey, yeah, same thing. But like sometimes it makes a lot of sense what you have to do to free them. Like sometimes it's like, turn off the electricity, or turn off the water, or turn on the water, or whatever. Then sometimes there are very elaborate things you have to do, or certain timings that you need to do in order to. And they're not always very obvious. Like there's a couple of them where I was like, I'm pretty certain I know what I'm doing, like what I should be doing, but it's not working. And then I'd go online and look it up, and it's like, oh, I have to use this ghost after I've already used this ghost on this other place, and that's why it wasn't working or whatever. It feels like every level is kind of trying to do like a movie pastiche.
Yes, it really.
Which I guess is like there's so many movies about ghosts that it's really easy to just have each level be a different movie.
Sorority house, insane asylum, police station. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that
Secret
was
underground
cool.
military installation.
Yeah. Oh, then you get like the actual ghost hunters and stuff like that, like the Ghostbusters types who are supposed to like
non-registered trademark.
Yeah, exactly. Busters who go after ghosts. But it never felt like they were either like a huge threat or completely useless. Like I always like they never felt like they worked in with again the mechanics they said they were supposed to be working with.
No, I do. Yeah, I agree with that. It is weird though because I remember playing this when I was a little kid and like for some reason I remembered free movement with the ghosts, not having them to be locked in on the whatever you call it, not familiar.
The object they're haunting.
For some reason, I remember it being way
because like all the ghosts have to like actually haunt an object as opposed to like haunt a. Well, some of them can haunt a room.
Some of them can haunt a room. Some of them only electrical appliances. Some of them. It was always my favorite. Was like it would be like I think it was like sentimental stuff or something like that, and it would always randomly be like, oh yeah, this washing machine is sentimental. So I was like, okay, ghost with the chains, go haunt this washing machine now. Oh, my favorite one was the I can't remember. I think it's the insane asylum. The guy you unlock in there, the electrical, not the is it the electrical, like the electric chair guy? Is that the insane asylum?
Electric chair guy you locked in the police station.
Yeah, and I think he's the one. Yeah, he's the one that I would just like when I was a little kid. Once I got him, he was like he's like my number one Pokemon. Like he's got like the whole KOs for everybody. Yeah. Like you just put him in a room, just make sure you have enough negative energy to let him just go wild, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's just Pokemon for kids who watch too many Tim Burton movies.
I don't know. I think it was because it was some Scholastic book fair or something. There was this one book, and it was like, oh, a Ghost Hunter's Handbook. And I got that, and when you're a little kid, and I was 6th grade, however old that is, 10, 11, I don't know. I believed it. I was like, oh, ghosts are real, because there's obviously they are, because there's a book about it, and you can hunt them. That sounds cool. And so yeah, I was really into ghosts for a while.
Did you ever already find any?
Not yet, man. Still looking. I mean, I don't believe, but I'm willing. If someone was like, yo, there's just a legit haunted house, I'd go. I'd check it out. If there's obviously like a credible source.
Yeah, you want to believe.
I want to believe.
To coin a phrase.
Yes. Do you think David Duchovny has fond memories or just terrible memories?
I mean, he has to, right?
I mean, it made his life.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sure he's still getting probably like $1,000 a week easy off that.
Right, at least. I mean,
well, no, I don't know if it's like really tracking like a lot of those 90s shows are with like the current, like Friends is still popular with like 16-year-old girls right now.
No, that's true.
Like, is X-Files what the loser kids are watching right now?
I don't know. I mean, I recently rewatched a lot of X-Files with my sister over the holidays, but like we were both alive in the 90s, so
yeah.
But like we never. I don't remember watching it at all when we were kids much. Like I remember watching it a little bit, like when it was on in reruns, like on TNT or whatever.
Oh wow, really?
It was on, but yeah, I think it was TNT or Sci-Fi Channel. One of
those.
I'm
like, just surprised you weren't like. Because when did it air? Like 94, 5, 6?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. 94
like
to like 2000.
Mid to early like 90. Yeah, but I remember I didn't like. I watched it like as it was coming out. I was like definitely way too young to understand what the fuck was going on. But I remember it was like I want to say my older brother was watching it, and I would just like watch it too, and definitely have a lot of nightmares and.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. X-Files could be like some episodes would be absolutely terrifying, and sometimes it was like.
Did you ever see the one that got banned?
I don't know.
They have one episode
Probably
that they like pulled from air because everyone's like, oh yeah, we maybe went a little too far with that one, and I saw that. It's like this incestuous like Hills Have Eyes family kind of thing.
Oh jeez,
that literally sets up like a Home Alone murder house. And they the thing is that they accidentally all get each other,
Yeah, that's also sounds very
and I watched that. And I was just like, what the? I don't even know if I knew the F word yet, but I said it.
Actually, that's a good point. Why haven't why like there has been Home Alone video games, but like if you like, why aren't there
Like a modern
more?
like Home
Yeah,
Alone.
exactly. I
Isn't
think that
that
would
what
work
that
really well.
Rainbow Six Siege is? Kind of like this is like an extreme version of that.
Yeah, I mean maybe I haven't actually played it.
I mean, either
It just looks like a
but
shootery thingy.
it does, but it was like the first one of its kind.
Oh, the OG Rainbow Six way back in the day. Yeah.
I mean, like the Siege one. That was the first one to kind of do like the small environment, just head on team clash. Like before that it was just like Halo, uh,
I don't know. There was a lot
Day
before
Defeat.
that.
I love Day Defeat. Did you ever play that?
Don't even know what that is.
Day Defeat
No.
is like Counter Strike, another Steam, but it was a World War II.
Mm.
It was so good.
I played America's Army for a minute there. The army recruitment.
Did you get recruited from it? This is it's weird.
Yeah.
Or was someone like send you a message like, "Good shooting there. What are you doing when you grow up?"
Well, that was the thing. Sometimes you'd end up playing with like there was different servers that you could go to and be like, by the way, this is a training server. So if you end up on here, you might actually have to fight real army soldiers. And I was always like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play on this one, and maybe I'll fight like a real
I'm gonna
army
fight a
guy and
Navy
be better at
SEAL.
him. Yeah, when I was like 12 or whatever, and then I would just hide in the air vents and throw grenades at people.
I mean, why is
You
the
know.
army using that tactic right now? I feel like that was.
I guess it's because no building actually has giant air vents big enough for like a whole ass human.
I've seen enough movies to know that that is true. There are airplanes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so I've worked in a lot of buildings. I've been in a lot of weird spaces. And part of working in restaurants is sometimes things go really, really wrong. And you gotta send somebody to investigate so that they know who to call. So I've been in a lot
Your
of...
Final Destination, someone.
No, but I've like been in a lot of like roof spaces just because they're like, oh, there's a drip. And I tend to be one of the taller people, so like they send me. Yeah, it is weird. Like any kind of one of those I've been in is like, unless you know what you're doing, you're just falling through the floor or through the ceiling. Like there's nowhere to step. I mean, I've been in ones that are like probably like half a story tall. Those weird, for some reason, spaces that we have. I don't know if they have them in Sweden.
I mean, if they are, I haven't been in many attics here, I have to say.
Well, it's not an attic. It's just like where they have the ducts and stuff. It seems like a very inefficient waste of space.
Yeah, the drop ceilings or whatever.
Yeah. I always had this theory. If the average human height was just half of what it is now, how much better off would the Earth be? Like, we're still doing what we're doing. We still got cars. We still got all this shit. Like, one cow would fill a city. Like,
yeah, I guess it's not the plot of that
The Borrowers.
that one movie. No, it's like
Oh,
it's not,
I know you're talking
I
about
thought
that
it
Matt
was
Damon
like,
movie. I never saw it.
Yeah, Downsizing, I think it's called. I wanted to like it, and I couldn't even get past the first. Like, I watched like the first half hour of it, and it was boring. Which
I
was
imagine
amazing.
because honestly, like outside of the Bourne series, Bourne like Ultimatum and whatever, all that stuff, minus the one that didn't have Matt Damon in it. I didn't like that one.
Yeah,
But,
no.
Other than that, like Matt Damon doesn't really pull. He doesn't pull me as an actor.
I mean, he was good in
You gonna say Good Will Hunting?
Good Will Hunting or whatever, but I mean, he was also playing off Robin Williams that half the time. So
Yeah, Rome.
But no, I think like the problem with the Downsizing movie is just like it was 2 pounds of movie in a 20-pound bag.
Yeah.
Like it was
No,
like
'cause
it's
that
like
movie was hyped up. Like you
Yeah.
saw the trailer constantly, kind of thing. And I feel like that was kind of at like a little bit of Matt Damon's little height. He had just I was going to call it Disco Elysium, but it's not.
Just Elysium.
Was that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, when
The
he
one
was
with
like,
Jodie Foster.
yeah, when he has the robot suit. Yeah, I still don't like. I get that like he did the Bourne series, but like I didn't know why they were like really trying to push him to be like an action star. Like, just doesn't seem like him,
I think it's what you do with you're an actor of a certain age, like a certain like attractiveness, age, and popularity.
Like
You
late
just try-
30s,
You,
you just,
you
like-
either stick them in rom-coms or action movies, and sometimes both. they have to figure out which one you are. No, like but like the other thing is like there are so many movies nowadays that feel like they should just be like Twilight Zone sketches or like episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And then they end up being like full
A whole
movies.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, like that one. And then what was the other one I was thinking of the other day? Oh, there was that creepy one with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, where they're on the spaceship? I haven't seen that one, but I mean, because Chris Pratt had a pretty, I don't know, I won't say call it like a fall from grace, but like he rose and rose and rose, and then you kind of just stopped hearing about him.
Oh, I don't know if you just stop hearing about him. He's everywhere, but he's very overexposed. Though.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
just
mean,
people
it happened
tune him
like
out now.
he went straight to Marvel / Jurassic Park, and he did like 1,000 action. He's fucking Mario. Terrible voice choice.
Garfield now too.
Shut the. No, he's not. Just you're joking because that's a.
Yeah. No, he's in the new Garfield movie. He's Garfield in the new Garfield movie. Well, he's married to Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter, so.
What does she do? She's just rich, and I assume very
much.
attractive.
Probably. If you have that much money, you can be pretty.
You can
attractive.
buy yourself pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because just yesterday I finally finished the movie I was telling you about, Body Double.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian De Palma, a true auteur, if ever. And,
Something like that, yeah.
And he does kind of, I feel like something he loves to do is kind of like make his movies have like
Picture in picture.
yeah, like Hollywood within like being like kind of like a set piece or like part of like the character's backstory. But like halfway through the movie, it just goes, it doesn't turn into a porno.
Yeah.
But the man goes into porn.
He doesn't do endings very well either.
Oh no, he doesn't do the end credits of this movie. I swear to God, is the main character groping a titty for like 5 minutes. It's literally, and it's like a scene of him, like it's like a scene of them setting up the scene in the movie that they're filming for him to grope the titty as a vampire. It's just like very uncomfortable because it just keeps going, and then it just keeps going. It's so weird. I mean, good movie. It's a great take on the whole like Rear Window thing. But definitely just throws it into like very pornographic.
Yeah, I mean he's not. I don't know. Brian De Palma's not like a guy who does half measures of stuff.
Oh no, he
really,
doesn't. His dick's on the table every single time. Yeah. Has he done anything recently? I feel like I heard about him doing something recently.
Scarface. That was like 40 years ago.
Oh wow, did that just come out?
Yeah. It's a remake, of the old Edward G. Robinson movie. You heard of that one?
Have you heard of this? Have you heard this? Oh yeah, he hasn't done anything in a while, I don't think.
Yeah. But we should probably just finalize our thoughts on Ghost Hunter real quick.
Ghost Master, Jesus Christ.
Ghost Master. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. I can never remember the gosh dang name.
Ah, he did the first Mission Impossible?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Good for him. I wonder if he's still getting paid
That's
for
why
that.
there's so much body horror with that creepy face.
I wonder if he's still getting paid for that, because like...
I'd hope so, presumably. I mean, technically, it's also a movie adaptation of a TV show, so
no.
He probably doesn't get that much credit.
No, he doesn't
yeah.
get shit. But yeah,
it's some guy who wrote the TV show back in the 60s is getting
some corpse,
all the residuals.
Some corpse is just getting like a paycheck for like a $10 million every week.
Yeah. No, it's just James Arness is still making the money from them. Was it James Arness or the other guy? I always get him confused.
For
the guy who looks like James Arness, who is his brother, who isn't called Arness. I'm
Googling it right now.
James Arness brother.
James Arness was Gunsmoke.
Okay, so it was his brother then. What's his brother's name?
It's not Pete Graves, is it?
Yeah, Peter Graves. Yeah, he was the guy in Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely looks like it.
I think this is a good concept.
It's a beautiful
wasn't
concept.
Particularly well executed.
Yeah, and
yeah,
hindsight through rose-tinted glasses, man. It's the theme on this show. We either do swan songs of a studio / death throes, or like games we thought kicked fucking ass, and then come back 20 years later.
But that's the thing. It's like, even though like the gaming industry has exploded in the last 20 years since this game came out, like there aren't a lot of games like this at all. Even even the Dungeon Keeper Evil Genius genre, which I think is the closest thing you have to this. There's like 2 or 3 games that are like sequels or spiritual successors.
Sure.
there isn't really like a genre for this. Like, even XCOM came back and recreated an entire genre, and like this, like I could totally see there being a ton of these games, but it just
I think with a
isn't
game
really.
like this, it would have to be so complex to like actually be able to like terrorize, like a house, or even like, you get to the point of you doing like facilities worth of people and have them each be individualized and interesting. I mean, I couldn't even tell you where to begin with that, like.
But at the same time, like how much, like at the same time, how much of it is just like reducing health bars and reducing
100%.
How many games you have to like reduce the barrier before you can reduce the health on the creature or something like that.
It is very simple.
Like I think at some point you could work that out, but it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know. It just seems like an untapped market. Like I think an enterprising young studio could really do something interesting.
Oh,
with something
I'm sure like
if
if
they
like
really wanted to.
the game company was making this game now, it'd be, really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, like I think about like how like 2 Point Studios came back and redid like Theme Hospital and with 2 Point Hospital and all that jazz. Like, I think someone could just do a spiritual successor to Ghostmaster, and I got it right this time. And I think it could turn out quite well.
No,
I'd
for
like to
sure.
see
I
that.
feel like this is definitely a game of potential and a game of unique, original ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, I get The Sims was hot at the time. Sims was real hot.
Yeah, but this game isn't even really the Simsy. It's just got like kind of
It kind of
Sims
looks like The Sims
models.
and these Sims
Yeah.
houses where like the walls disappear.
That's true. That's true. Like if you didn't know what you were doing, you'd think it could be a Sims
Oh, it's
game.
the
Like you
spooky
got this
Sims.
management. Yeah, I mean, hey, the Adams Family, The Sims. Actually, that'd be a. Why don't they do that? Like a Adams Family expansion pack for The Sims.
There's gotta be.
And just everyone's always scared to be at your house.
There's gotta be.
Nah, man. I've played a lot of Sims, but I mean, there's like goths. There's like you can get like vampire Sims, but like the problem is like I don't know. The Sims always just have to like each other. Like they're incapable of hating each other or being afraid of each other. So you really have to like go out of your way if you want to do something like that.
I wonder if like the Adams Family IP is just because it's been around for what 60, 70 years maybe at this point.
Even more than that. I mean, because it's based on those old like newspaper cartoons.
Yeah, so it's
like,
probably like not cheap to get like the rights.
Well,
to
I don't
use
know.
It.
I think in a few years it's probably going to be even out of copyright. Like, how old are the Addams Family characters? Let me do some quick googling.
What are we about to do? We're just going to become an Addams Family podcast.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. Addams Family.
No, that's not the Addams Family. That was Pink Panther.
They originally premiered in '38, right? So
that's close to 100.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna come out of
14
copyright
years, so
soon.
86 years. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I mean they'll be public domain within our lifetimes, hopefully. Knock on wood. I mean, barring those those two fucking animated movies. I only saw the first, the new ones, the Minion style fucking Addams Family movies.
There's a Minions crossover, or
no, it's just done by the same people who did Minions, and it's got like that.
Yeah,
really,
that animation.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back with some news.
Oh, wait. All right.
And we're back. So news. Don't have a ton this week. But Amazon has had a lot of success lately with adapting video games. They've had their Last of Us show that did really well, and Fallout's obviously done quite well. Now they're going for Yakuza. They have a Yakuza show. Well, I don't know.
It's gonna be weird.
It's supposed to come out by the end of the year, and I will say that at least it's made by a Japanese creative group. Like it's not like Westerners trying to do.
I will
Yakuza,
say though,
I think is good.
Not that I like respect Jeff Bezos as a person, and I'm sure he has nothing to do other than like saying yes or no to things at this point in Amazon. Actually, no, he's not even.
I have
still
no
on the board.
idea.
But like Amazon, like in their video services, they will let anything go. Like they did The Boys, and they let people know with the boys, they're like, we will show someone's dick blow through another man's head. We'll put that on TV.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not so much that I'm worried about them censoring it. I'm just worried about them, like,
having a direction,
getting the tone wrong. Which I guess, like,
have you thought about applying for a job?
Yeah, well, the fact that they managed to get Fallout right, like, I think they did a good job with that. So I have hope, but I think actually in some ways I'm maybe a little trepidatious because they did say it was going to be they're going to use a full Japanese production company, just because like. There's been a lot of Japanese live-action adaptations of anime that are made entirely in Japan, and like I'm not like a big anime guy, but I know that most of those are terrible. I mean, I guess the Cowboy Bebop one was Netflix, not
you know what,
not Amazon.
I think with the Cowboy Bebop, they should have let it go one more time. Let them get one more try at it. Give them a season 2.
You think so?
I think they were. I mean, no, they did end it on the worst note ever. Like that was just like, why? And I get they were thinking, obviously season 2, everyone loves Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Until you come around, But yeah, that was hard to watch. But no, I thought it had some potential.
Westerners haven't done terrible adaptations of. Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, I think
they get a lot of things wrong.
They didn't try and be weird enough with it. Yeah.
I think the je ne sais quoi did not come through.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, there's so much about Cowboy Bebop that is like about timing and pacing and
it's a very nuanced.
Mixing.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like you get like they're not afraid to give you like wide shots of landscape with music playing and stuff like that, and like that's just not something that
they did.
I think clicks with a lot of live action things. I think that part. I think a big part of that is like controlling tempo.
Yes.
Like. You get those moments of like slowness and just to like speed up things and slow things down and create more lethargy and stuff like that. So even if like the actual line deliveries of the dialogue and stuff like that kind of keep the same tone, the viewer is put into different like modes for those scenes. And I don't think they were interested in trying to do that with the live action show.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to cut this just because about what I'm going to say, but did you ever get the impression from either the show or the manga that Jet Black was a black person?
No.
Me neither.
I don't think I ever thought that he was.
Me neither, right? And I think because his last name was Black that they just decided for the Netflix show.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could have. Like, there wasn't anything about him that wasn't, but like it just seemed like a weird choice. I don't know. But I guess the thing is, it's like there's nothing wrong with like, if the character's ethnicity and race is not important, I don't think it's anything inherently wrong with
changing it,
casting out exactly. But it does kind of feel like the only reason they made him black
because his last name is Black. Yes, it really did. I mean, honestly though, he was one of the better characters in live action. Was Jet Black?
Yeah, just I think he actually was.
He did embody the character. I would say that, not fully, but
yeah, and he didn't
have
like
the full sorrow.
He had like the kind of. Well, he had he was very animated like as a actor.
Yes.
Like not animated like he looked like a cartoon, but I mean he was emotive and
he was,
a
physical
moved. Yeah. Well, his physical. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Whereas I also the guy they cast for Spike, like you needed someone with a lot more cool.
Yeah.
Than what's his face?
Spike is literally supposed to be the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be like the re-embodiment of like James Dean or whatever. And like
he's supposed to be Lupin.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be Lupin. Lupin the Third.
Yeah. Well, Lupin the Third was much more. I don't know. Like of the Lupins I've watched, he's a goofball.
He's a goofball, but he's cool. He's a goofball that does the coolest things ever. And if you can look it up, like Spike Spiegel is 100% like. Drafted.
No, I can see that. Like, it's just me. I always feel like Lupin is more like the less incompetent Clouseau, who's also a thief. I don't know.
I honestly went through a hardcore Lupin phase, but not like Lupin the Third, but like Lupin the Gentleman Thief. Yeah, because there's this really good Netflix show. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, it's really.
It's
good.
so yeah. I loved it. I binge watch it every time a season comes out and get upset that I binge watched it because I have nothing to do for another year and a half. I think it's a great adaptation because in itself it references the source material as something that inspired the character. You know, it's an adaptation that's acknowledging it's a modern adaptation. You know, like it tells you straight up, like the guy in the show is a fan of Lupin. Why does he live his life this way? Because he loves Lupin. You know, he thought he was the coolest dude. I want to be Lupin, so he does it, and they do a great job. And you know, his race never becomes a thing. I think maybe at one point he kind of uses it to get away from the cops. But other than that, like,
Yeah.
no, it is.
Yeah. If this was an American show, that would just be the joke.
Oh,
every single
100% of the time.
It's like,
Yeah.
just be like a lot of Bernie Mac jokes about like
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac.
He was funny. He was.
No, he was. So just I just always think of when he was in, was it Charlie's Angels too?
He was Charlie.
And just
just chain smoking cigarettes in his little intercom.
I thought Bill Murray was Charlie in those, and he was just like the other guy.
Oh, was he like Charlie's assistant?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or maybe
It's
wrong.
been a long time,
I
man.
haven't been-
It's been a long time.
The one thing I remember about that movie is like there's a scene in the first one
When she's
where-
dancing in her underwear.
Well, there's that, but no, like when Drew Barrymore is at Sam Rockwell's house and she ends up like jumping out the window like naked and wrapped in a bed sheet, like because she finds out he's the bad guy. She's rolling down the hill in this. Well, let me finish. She's rolling down the hill of this like in Beverly Hills or whatever, and she lands up in this like this backyard. There's some teenage boys playing video games. And they're just like, oh, what's that out in the backyard? Oh my god, a naked woman. But they're playing Final Fantasy VIII. And
my god. Is Final Fantasy VIII that old?
Specifically, yeah. They're in the training area of Balam Garden.
Oh,
where like you
fight
you
the
fight
T-Rex.
Yeah, but they're not fighting a T-Rex. They're fighting like the plant
Yeah,
monsters
yeah.
or whatever, you know. It's like real early in the game.
Oh, yes.
I was like, I know exactly
I know where it is.
what's going on in this game. Never mind naked Drew Barrymore. I'm looking at the video game.
I mean, with that cast, like, I don't want to like sound like I'm objectifying women, but Drew Barrymore was like of the three, she was not first or second.
You mean like in attractiveness?
Yeah,
I don't know.
of the three, whatever her name.
It's like Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah,
and
Lucy
Drew
Liu,
Barrymore.
100%. Like she was like at that like little boy crush for.
I don't know. Honestly, I think I might have just still been in my girls have cooties phase of adolescence when that movie came out. So
I mean, this is gonna be a throwback to our conversation. First crush ever, fucking Scully, like crazy.
Yeah,
like crazy.
That's very fair. Yeah, I don't know. I think mine might have been like Mary Poppins or something like that. If we're going that way,
Arvid,
but
you like them umbrella girls?
Yeah, you know, nothing like a Victorian dress and an umbrella.
Was that based off true events? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, have you seen that movie that's about like the making of Mary Poppins? Or rather, like
is it
it's like Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney, and he's trying to convince the lady who wrote Mary Poppins to let him make a movie of it.
About, but I have not seen that.
It's not bad. It's not great, but like it does a really good job. Like the actors playing Tom Hanks is a really good Walt Disney.
Tom Hanks
like,
can.
They get
unfortunately, he can act. You know, there's a reason he's been a legitimate movie star for what, like 40 years now, 50 years now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he had to do like a lot of bad movies. Like people always forget about like Splash and
they forget about a lot of things like
Turner and Hooch.
I remember. I think it's something that put a lot of perspective in my head when I was younger. I can't remember who was. It was some kind of like teacher was talking to us about. It was one of my film professors at school was like talking about like actors like breaking kind of like their stereotypes. And he was talking about how like when Castaway was first like kind of coming out, everyone's like, "You mean the comedy guy is doing a serious movie? No one's gonna watch that." And then, I mean, that was his break, you know, sure, but.
I don't know. I mean, like, I think, like, Forrest Gump came out before Castaway, right?
Yeah, but he kind of did do, like, a kind of goofy, you know, like, Forrest Gump couldn't come out now. They could not. Well, they could not make.
It's just not that good of a movie for a big part of it, too. I don't know.
Like, like you were saying, like, the whole like they were making a movie about making a thing. Have you noticed that that's like almost like a trend now, where there's like movies about products to consume?
Well, I was talking about this on the other episode about the fucking Pop-Tart movie.
Yeah.
So bad. But at the same time, it's not like that bad of a concept. Like I could see that not being terrible, but like I think the idea is that it's supposed to be a parody of like the making of Tetris and like the invention of Nike movies or whatever those things are. And like it's supposed to be a parody of that, but it doesn't not hit try and be
the nail on the head.
No, because it's not funny or interesting or even seem like they frequently forget to talk about Pop-Tarts and they just kind
of. I guess that Larry David is not involved.
No, I don't think. I don't think many people with brain cells are involved.
Jerry really struggles to be funny when Larry David is in the room.
God, I mean, there's so many people in that movie, and like none of it's funny.
I mean, you gotta imagine though, like Jerry Seinfeld. I think his show has grossed more money than any other show outside, like maybe like Friends or something.
Oh, I don't know. Like Law and Order SVU is on its 108th season or whatever.
It is, but like. Everyone watched Seinfeld. When that show came out, it broke every record ever. And at the time, actually, like...
But it was also, like, at the peak of that exposure of that medium.
Sure.
You know? Like network television was never in as many homes as it was when that show
100%,
peaked, too.
Yeah. No, they broke every record when they made that show. And they literally broke the mold, too. It was a big thing. Like...
I've never been a big Seinfeld guy, so like I'm just kind of like
Maybe this is why you're not funny. You don't like Seinfeld.
Yeah, I mean that's probably part of it.
No, there's a lot of very droll episodes that are just like. I feel like almost nowadays people like Seinfeld because they're told to like Seinfeld. You know, like oh, Seinfeld is a great show from the long, long ago. You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, just I mean, like, it's not like I don't think it's funny. It's just it was never like.
Oh yeah, you're not slapping your knees like in Seinfeld.
Yeah, but also like when I was like at the age of learning what's funny, it was never like part of my repertoire or whatever. Arrested Development was probably like
your Seinfeld
version of that.
I mean,
yeah, in a way. Like, I mean, it had a lot fewer episodes.
The first couple seasons, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
The first season of The Comeback I liked. After that, less so. I think that they had enough leftover good material from the OG show for the first Comeback that I think that it made its way into there enough, and they had enough stuff to like rip on because they had like all that time, so they could kind of like do jokes about like the housing crisis and the end of the Bush era and all that stuff.
God,
but also I think like Arrested Development is so. I mean, it is so tied to the Bush era. Like, Arrested Development cannot exist outside of that time period. Like, it is.
Can Arrested Development exist without 9/11?
I mean, no. I mean, not at all. Like, it's defined by that.
All right, we need to call Alex Jones right now. We need to have a serious call. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to need money very soon.
Anyway.
What are you talking about? That's a great...
But yeah, so they're making a Yakuza TV show, I guess.
Oh.
Probably could be good.
You know what
I
I
hope it's
hate,
good.
though?
I suspect it won't.
I hate that this will probably be my first exposure to Yakuza.
Why?
I can't run it outside of like if you in like because I've tried to like look up like buying like the PS2 games and stuff, and they're like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying that much. You know.
Why don't you get like a PS4? Like how expensive can they be these days? I mean, we're almost to 2 generations behind.
This is PS4. Just go ahead and buy PS4. Just go buy a whole computer to play one game.
I don't know, man. Like, play 7 games. Plus, there's a lot more stuff that you want to play on the PS4.
Honestly, I don't even know anymore. Like when it comes to games, like if it wasn't for you and Mike, I don't even know what a video game was. Currently, I feel bad. I haven't played any of the 7 Days to Die, Zomboid. I haven't been able to play Zomboid in like weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's like you definitely don't want to log onto the server when no one else is there, you know, because you
no, Mike was telling me about that.
Yeah. So I remember I had my first. It was my 30th character when I finally like met up with him, and then like I was like, oh, so this is how I play the game. I was like, I think I want to, like suicide, and like do a reroll of a character. And I did that, and then I just like stopped being able to play after I made a character that was like kind of supposed to be useful to the team.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Everyone just kind of cycles through games these days. Not that I don't do that either, but
I'm still playing Final Fantasy VII, man.
still, for all these years.
I love it. I still haven't beaten it.
Yeah. Ever?
You get to that last. When I was a little kid, I wasn't like good enough to.
Oh no, I know the exact same the emotion where it's like, oh, I got to go to Crater now. I'm gonna do everything else.
I'm just gonna
besides do that.
Dick around, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and then eventually restart the game.
When I was a little kid, it was because Sephiroth kind of like he learned your fighting style, and then like counters it. So I couldn't do it. I was like, I am 9.
Yeah, well, especially if you get Knights of the Round before you fight him, and then he's like 30
Yeah, if you get
higher
Knights of the
than
Round, if you're like a 9-year-old who figures out how to raise a golden chocobo, sure. Not happening for a 9-year-old. You're not figuring out how to breed.
Well, you didn't have the Prima guide?
No. I just went at it raw dog, bro. I said, this game looks cool. It's a triangle box, and there's a guy on a motorcycle.
Oh, you played it on PC?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
I had never heard of Final Fantasy before. I just happened to be in what is it called?
The OG Final Fantasy for computer. I remember I had it for the PlayStation, playing it all the time. Then my neighbor on base was like, I really want to play this, but I don't have a PlayStation. And eventually got it on the computer, and I was like, oh cool. And then I went to his house to see what it like, and it was so shitty. Like,
was it really?
You had to use the numpad to control everything, and like everything was so
You're hitting
slow,
a WASD, bro.
It wasn't WASD. It was the numpad. It was like whatever 4, 7, 6, and 2 were the arrow controls or whatever the fuck.
That's how I played.
Ugh,
That's how I played.
I hated that.
And I like.
I'm so sorry.
No, it was. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I lived and breathed. I told people to call me Cloud.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I got it like in a stack of games that like my mom's boyfriend at the time got from like a flea market, and I kind of suspect they were stolen because like it had only been out for like 3 months at that point.
Yeah,
so like I don't know how he found it in a flea
market,
market. Yeah, and it was like that and like Resident Evil and like a
nice.
stack of other things all
sick,
at once.
Though.
Yeah. No, it was great. I got like a good bunch of games right at the beginning, but like I couldn't get past the first boss, like the Scorpion, because I didn't understand the
when the tail is up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, I'll do that, and then it's like, oh no, that's bad. But then it's telling me to do that. It wasn't until like I got the Prima guide, and there was like, no, actually, you're not supposed to do that. And I was like, oh, but yeah.
Oh.
Actually, the only of like the what I consider like my favorite Final Fantasies, which is like 7 through 10. And 6 and 12, if you want to count that too. 9 was the only one I played without a guide.
9 is, I don't know, not the best, but it's like a swan song. It's a swan song because it was like all the OGs is like last one. Yeah. And it was literally a love letter to all the other games they'd made. That was the whole point of it. It was like, we just make a game.
Yeah.
We could pays homage to.
Which I think is fair.
And it does a great job.
Yeah.
I know people hate the
trance system was terrible.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that.
Like I think my problem with that was like it was Final Fantasy 9 is the best Final Fantasy if you don't count the end game.
Sure.
Because like it starts railroading you, and then there's nothing really interesting to do other than just follow the story.
No, it is very, very story driven, but that was like such a rare thing, like for Final Fantasy at the time, and then like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way they like instantly split up your party in like the game, and like you have 2 parties, and like you can't, you don't have to.
Well, they always kind of did that a bit.
Well, no, like you literally had 2 different parties that you were playing like in separate areas, and like I don't know, I just thought it was, I don't know, I just think it's neat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But anyway, my point was, what was my point?
Final Fantasy 9.
Anyway, yeah, so like I think that part of the reason why I still like 9 is special for me is because I had more wonder going through it. Like I wasn't like
going through a guide.
Part of me was like there was always part of me being like, oh, I got to make sure I grab that materia before I go into the next room, otherwise I might lose it. And on the other hand, I don't think they ruined the games for me. Obviously, those are some of my favorite games of all time. Certainly playing 12 without a guide is insane. I don't know that's. Whoever made that game was.
I think I had 12. Wait, is 12 the one with the first non-turn-based combat? Is 12 the
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
12's the one with like Vaughn and all that.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying, but I just like couldn't, because I think I do love the grind, I realize like
it gets very grindy.
I know, but like the grind is not the same if I'm not pressing up, down, left, right, enter. I need that. I need that in my grind.
you can do that too. How far did you get into it?
I got to Skytown. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh man, you're like that's like the intro.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
you're still in the tutorial.
Yeah, but what the thing was though, because like I was just like, me, I love the grind, so I did a lot of. I'm like level 35 there.
Once you get to the point, there's like a point where you're supposed to like. If you play the story as it wants to be played until you get to the point where you're supposed to cross the Sand Sea.
Okay.
And then you get to like this, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like this huge area. Yeah, like where you have to like fight these people who ride like sand sharks, and it's like a giant oil rig that looks like Metal Gear. Anyway, once you get to that point, that is like, how like in Final Fantasy X, after you do the Blitzball thing, it like really opens up and lets you kind of like
the
grind a lot. That's the same period. So like I would recommend getting to there, and then if you still don't click with it, then maybe it's not.
I think it's the combat system that really just like, I don't know.
Well, the combat system also gets a lot more interesting when you're dealing with like enemies. Like also, a lot of it, like Final Fantasy XII deals with status effects way more than most Final Fantasies do.
Sure, yeah.
Where you're like constantly like adding status effects, removing status effects, and all that jazz. So like a lot of it comes down to less like timing of like attacks and heals and stuff like that, to like timing debuffs and buffs and that sort of thing. But also if you get the HD remaster, there's a 4x speed up.
That is different. You talking about the Zodiac Age?
Yeah, well, that also adds like a much.
That's a simplified.
It adds the
version of the class system.
Well, it simplifies it, but it also because like the optimal build always ends up being that you kind of just have the like 6 of the same characters in the original game. But like with the Zodiac build, it doesn't let you do that, which makes it a lot more interesting of a combat system. Because it kind of restricts like weapons and all that.
It does,
jazz,
yeah.
So.
Which I think that was a big thing with me, was like
improvement.
looking at that system and being like, obviously, like I'm playing the OG, so there's no restrictions at all. So I have to like actually think about who these guys are going to be, what roles they're going to play. But it's also in that game, there's so many like, you just get a guy for a little bit and they go away, like little like cameo characters. And then you definitely like rely on them because they all have like plot armor, basically, where they just like they get to automatically heal everybody and they have infinite potions. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the point. It's like, again, you're still in the tutorial, so they're trying to keep it easy on you,
Yeah,
so they're like giving you like these characters to like, well, not tutorial, but it's still like it's the beginning. Like this is not even the end of disc 1 by any means.
Close, yeah.
In like
Hey, Arvid.
All right. So you've been playing Final Fantasy VII. You've been playing anything else?
I've been playing. A little upset because I'm doing my like kind of like my no talk playthrough of Paradise Killer, but I don't know if it's like something's wrong with my Wii, but it's not fully rendering everything. Switch, yeah. Not playing on the Wii, bro.
I mean, that might be part of the problem.
But yeah, it's not like rendering the environments fully. It's really weird. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff because it was before. No, it's not. And this is definitely a visual game. Not that all games aren't visual, but it's very visually cute and environment based. And
I mean, that's like I've had so many problems with Switch games just being really crappy ports.
Yeah.
I it just feels like there's not enough oversight into like making sure that games that are ported to Switch actually can run on Switch. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they just do it. They're just like, hell yeah. I've heard bad things about the Disco Elysium port.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like I know, like we played that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game. The Switch version of that was pretty terrible. What was the other one? We like, it just in general, if it's a game that is not made by Nintendo, like I'm pretty skeptical of it running on the Switch.
Yeah. So what have you been playing?
So I've been playing like Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. It's
I think I've seen some trailers for that. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really good. Like it's. I mean, like I talked before on the last episode about how I've been having trouble getting into CRPGs in general.
Yeah.
But this one's really clicked for me. Like it's it's this massive, expansive role playing game set in 40K. It does a really good job of like setting the character, like putting the characters in the universe, making them well-rounded characters, but at the same time like making them recognizable aspects of the 40K world that that are recognizable and interesting. And the combat system's a little, it has CRPG problems, but nothing that like if you're used to playing these kind of games, you're pretty used to all the problems that this game kind of has. It's also immensely long. I think that the Steam page says it's like 130 hours long, and I'm at hour 35, so got a ways to go still. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a lot better than I was expecting it to be, frankly. Especially because I had bounced off of like other newer RPGs a lot of people really liked, like Pillars of Eternity. But yeah, I mean, I'm still early days. But the only other like significant problem is that like the leveling up system is inscrutable. Like it really kind of has this like true to like a lot of RPGs like try and be very D&D and have like all those feats and skills and stuff that you have to, like and like if you're playing D&D, you can just like I always did, open up the player handbook and just kind of read through it and like, ooh, I can't wait to try out this feat in combination with this skill. But like you're leveling up 5 times a play session, and there's 40 levels in this game, and you got to go through this huge tome of skills to select every time, and then you have subclasses and subclasses, and it is a chore to level up. Yeah, it's very in depth, but like there's like so much chaff. Like I don't know what's good, what's not good, what works with things, what doesn't. There's a lot of reading involved.
I mean, it's a CRPG. There should be a lot of reading.
Well, that's true, but like every time I level up, I'm like I feel the opposite of elation. Yeah. I'm like, oh god,
you gotta go through this again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there isn't like a lot of good like in-universe class differentiation. Like the actual characters act very differently because some of them are psychers, some of them aren't, blah blah blah. But like the classes are all like tactician, strategist, and I'm like, what's the difference between those two things? And they just don't do a very good job of like differentiating like the fantasy of or like the most class in an RPG, the class and the skills that the class have should kind of
be very
up,
independent.
So be like, yeah, exactly. Like I know if I select Ranger that I'm going to use a lot of ranged attacks and stuff, and I'm not going to like worry about having to deal with armor and healing and stuff like that. But this game doesn't do a very good job with that. And then like there's like I don't know, like there's like literally an assassin class and a bounty hunter class, and like they do very similar things, but they're slightly different, and I don't know what works and what's not. And
what's your play style? Yeah,
it's one of those games that I'm probably gonna have a much better understanding of on like a second or third playthrough if I ever end up doing that, because again, it's quite long.
Yeah, 100 and what do you say, 50 hours?
30 hours, I think. But there is 2 DLC coming out this year at 15 hours each, so it'll be like 160 by that point, I guess. Jesus. But the writing's pretty good too for this kind of game as well. But yeah, I think we should. I think that's it. Right?
All right. So Ghostmaster, what game? Way lame.
I don't know. It's way tame.
It is way tame.
Frame.
They had good intentions and they had good ideas.
Yeah, but like maybe the execution's a little wanting. But I would love this idea to be explored by another game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this. I mean, we have this huge audience. One of our many followers
definitely.
definitely works at a big game studio. So
Yeah, get on that.
chop chop.
Yeah. So if you like this podcast, you can leave a message on comment, like it, subscribe, all that jazz. Tell your friends. Give us a 5-star rating. You can send us an email at thesafestatepodcast@gmail.com. You can add us on the Patreon, which is linked in the description, or at patreon.com/Safe State Podcast. We have some plans for some Patreon only content, but
the sexy audio.
Mike's COVID situation has kind of put a damper on that, so we should have that soon though. Yeah, and then we're also on Bluesky, so at the Safe State Pod on Bluesky if you want to talk to Mike. Frankly, I don't deal with that much. But other than that, thanks for listening. I've been Arvid,
and I've not been Mike because he's got COVID. I'm Marcus, the substitute.
Thanks. Speaking of which, what do you think like young Kanye would do if he met current Kanye?
Honestly, I do kind of think about that a lot. Because I
right?
what I honestly like to think about is like, maybe the best thing I could do with my life is to buy a plane ticket and just hand Kanye West his first big hit CD. Be like,
Yeah,
remember?
graduation. Just like,
remember
this?